What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I got a great video for you guys today. So today we're going to be talking about bass guitar, and what I'm going to do is show you guys how to tighten up your bass in your mix and make it a lot more fat. So let's jump into Logic Pro X and I'm going to show you guys how to tighten up your bass using EQ. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump right into the setup. And we're going to record some bass guitar. So let's jump into setting up the recording equipment that we need to do to record some bass guitar. Here we go. Alright guys, so here we are in Logic Pro X. So the first thing what we're going to do is take a listen to the bass guitar, and then we'll go from there and start mixing. So what we're going to do is solo our bass. That's what we're going to do first. So now that our bass is soloed, we're going to take a listen to our bass guitar. Here we go. Okay, so it sounds fat, but there's a little bit crunchiness in there, and I want to fatten that up. So I'm going to show you guys a trick to doing that. Here we go. Alright guys, the first thing what we want to do is, now that we have our two bass guitar tracks, is what we want to do is actually add an EQ to both of the bass guitar tracks. So we have our first EQ on bass 1. So that's what we want to do. So there's our first EQ. Then on our second bass track, we're going to add another EQ here. There we go. Now this trick I'm about to show you it's a little different than normal, but what I'm going to do is a really good trick to tighten up your bass. So what you want to do here is, on your first bass guitar track, what you want to do is actually add a high pass filter. Now, go with me here. I know what you're thinking is, Ryan, why are you putting a high pass filter on your bass guitar? You're going to get rid of the low end. But you know what? That's part of the trick. Just go with me on here. Because the thing is, what we want to do is, on your first bass guitar track, I only want the high end to pass through. So let's add a high pass filter. Alright guys, now that we have the high pass filter in, what we're going to do is move on to our second bass guitar track. Let's do that. Alright guys, now that we are done with our first bass guitar track, what we're going to do now is move on to our second one. So here we go. Like we did on the first track, we're going to open up our EQ, and what we're going to do is, now we're going to switch it up and actually add a low pass filter. So, because what we're going to do now is actually control the high end and actually only let the low end pass through. Alright, so I rolled the low pass filter up to about 1K. just to allow that low end to pop through the mix. So what I'm gonna do now is talk about why I actually did this, okay? Okay guys, the reason why I added a high pass filter onto the first bass guitar and the reason why I added a low pass filter onto the second bass guitar is because what I want to do is blend those two bass guitars together. So I want the low end to come through and the high end to come through so we can blend those two tones together to add a nice fat bass guitar. What you can do after you add your filters on your EQ is actually add a compressor to actually bring the sound up more and even the sound out. And that's going to fatten up your tone a lot more. But the EQ is the start to it. And then after you could add maybe some tape saturation, some compression. Those are the next two steps that you guys can follow if you want. So what I'm going to do now is actually pan these two bass guitars out wide so that we can see what they sound like. Let's do that. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now is, like I said, we're going to pan the two bass guitars so that I can show you what it's actually going to sound like nice and fat now that we have those two tones. So let's exit out of our EQ here and open up our mixer. So now that we have our mixer open here, what we're going to do is show you guys how to actually pan these two guitars so that we get that nice fat sound. Let's jump in. Alright, there's bass guitar 1. Now let's pan bass guitar 2. Alright, now that we got this far, I think what I'm going to do for you guys is actually show you how to balance the volume. So let's do that. But what I'm actually going to do is bring the faders all the way down and then bring them back up so we get the volume balance. So let's start by bringing the fader all the way. And now we're going to bring them back in and get a nice volume balance. Alright, and that sounds great to me. Some more tips that you guys can do is add a compressor on, like I said, add some tape saturation maybe, if you want a little bit of distortion onto your bass guitar. And guys, this is a great tip to tighten up your bass and make it sound even more even, fat in the mix, because you get the low end and you get the high end of the bass guitar together. So try these tips out, leave a comment down below, let me know if it worked for you guys. Alright? And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, make it turn gray, hit that like button, and turn on post notifications so you guys never miss a post whenever I post a new video on Golden Production. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video today, and if you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, hit that like button, and I hope you learned a lot about bass guitar and using EQ to make your bass guitar a lot more fat and make it stand out in the mix and make it a lot more tight. Try out these tricks, leave a comment down below letting me know if they worked for you guys. You guys are awesome, keep making great music, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys then.